Hi, my name is DeJah. Welcome to my channel. This is my first official makeup tutorial. Usually I just do IGTVs, but anyways, we're gonna jump right in here. So I start with moisturizing my face. Nothing in particular that I really find that I like, so just kind of use whatever works for you. After that, I go in with primer. I prefer a primer that's tacky rather than slippery. If it's too slippery, I feel as though the foundation kind of slides off. It doesn't last throughout the day. But again, that's my opinion. Totally, whatever works for you, do that. Okay, so after the primer is all soaked into my face, I'm going to go ahead and do my eyebrows off camera. There's nothing really special about them. My natural eyebrows are really thick, so I just kind of fill in the gaps, I guess. So next I'll go and I'll prime my eyelids with concealer. Again, use whatever your favorite is. I'll list what I use in the description box, of course. I prime it, blend it all out, then I'll set it with a powder. Whatever finishing powder, setting powder you have, that works. You can use eyeshadow too. Just try to use something that's not a color, something closer to the primer's color, I guess would be the best way to explain that. Do both eyes, of course. You're gonna look a little crazy. I know I do, but it's fine. So let's jump into eyeshadow. I start with the Orange Glad palette by Colourpop. I go in the color Sun Kissed. It's just an orange shade. I use it as my transition shade, so blend that out a lot. I like to build up to an intenser color, so yeah, just keep blending, adding more to your preference so you get to where you like it to be. Okay, so after doing both sides, I go into the Main Squeeze palette from Colourpop in the color Like It's Hot. This is a red shade. I blend this in, also in the crease, but more precise than the orange, I guess, just to make it have a little bit more depth. We're going to get deeper than this, but for now, just add the red. So I spend a lot of time blending my eyeshadows. I like a really blended look, so I go back and forth between the two shades that I use, the Sun Kissed and the Like It's Hot. Again, just keep blending so there's no harsh lines. Again, just to make it look, I guess, a lot smoother. So now we're going to go in with the Whatever palette from Colourpop in the color in Bold. So I really focus this in the crease with a much smaller brush. Yeah, it's gonna look a little crazy with these harsh lines, but I mean, just blend like crazy. I even tap into the other two colors from the other two palettes and really blend this out so I don't have any harsh lines. So to avoid any awkward silence while I'm blending out this eyeshadow, the song that is playing on repeat in the background is from my friend Adane Richardson. I will link his social media and the link to the song in the description box. He's an amazing singer and an amazing person. I totally recommend you check it out. I'm going to go back into the Orange Glad palette. This time I'm going into the color Squeeze Me. This is a nice shimmer color. I originally started applying this with a brush, but it just wasn't showing up the way I liked, so I switched to my fingers. I know it's not that sanitary, but honestly, just keep some hand sanitizer on your vanity or your bathroom sink and you should be fine. Just going in and blending a little bit more. I like my shimmers to blend into the browns as well. Again, you don't have to do this. This is just my preference. Excuse me, just wasn't giving me enough sparkle, at least not the sparkle that I wanted. So I went on top of that with Palooza from the Honey Colourpop palette. It just gave it that extra oomph that I wanted, I guess. But yeah, so if you don't want to do that, you don't have to. I know I prefer a lot of sparkle. So Palooza from that palette has a lot of fallout, and I totally forgot. So what I did off camera is I went and I cleaned some of that glitter off of my face. I recommend having makeup wipes to do so. It just makes it a lot easier. Now I'm going to go in with my Shape Tape concealer. I do this to cover any dark marks or scarring I have on my face. This isn't necessarily to highlight, it's just to cover those underneath the foundation. Just gonna blend that out with my beauty blender. I prefer this to be kind of wet, not soaking wet. Blending after more blending after more blending. It's just a constant blending process. Sorry guys, I should have cut some more of this out. Okay, so I'm starting my foundation. I had so many issues with this foundation. It is the Colourpop foundation. I personally do not like it. I've given it so many test tries. As you can see, I'm going to realize that this is not the right shade. So I'm going to take another one that I have. Again, it's still Colourpop. And just kind of try to even things out a little bit. But again, I still don't really care for this foundation. So I personally prefer to do my face section by section. So I started on one side, then I do my forehead, and then I'll end up moving on to the other. Also, when I get to the other side, I realized I should have just been using the sponge the whole time. The brush was kind of like making it streaky, and it just wasn't working. Like I said, I really don't care for this foundation. I don't recommend it. Okay, so I'm not bashing the brands. I love Colourpop's eyeshadows. You see, I've used them this entire time. I even have their lipsticks and their lip pencils, even eyeliners. It's just I do not like the foundation. Sorry, Colourpop. Everything else is amazing, just not the foundation. So like I said before, I realized I should have been using the sponge the whole time. So I'm just going to kind of go back in and buff everything into the skin with the sponge. Step is not necessary. This is just something I prefer to do. I'll just spray my setting spray and bounce it into my skin. Then I'll conceal my under eyes, my chin, my upper lip, my forehead, and sometimes the tip of my nose and around the outside of my jaw, just a little bit. So I make a face because I realized I wasn't paying attention to the camera, forgot I was recording. But anyways, blend it in with your slightly damp beauty blender. Now I'm going to bake my face, and I focus this in the same areas I placed the concealer, so under my eyes, my forehead, the tip of my nose, above my lip, and on my chin. And with the extra powder on the sponge, I kind of just blend that out throughout the other areas of my face because I don't really want to bake those, but I do want to set them with some powder. Okay, everything is starting to bake to its thing, so we're going to go under our eyes with the same brown that we used earlier. From that brown, you're going to just kind of blend it out. I'm not going to go all the way in, kind of go like halfway almost. That's what I did, and the next I'll go in with the red, go a little bit further, and then I'll finish off with the orange. But with the orange, I actually end up taking it all the way across to make everything blend seamlessly from under eye to the top of the eye. So before it happens, after this, I'm going to start brushing off the powder, and there's a moment where I realize the foundation's coming off my nose, so I'm going to go off camera and fix that. Now I'm going to start my contour, and I contour all over my face. You'll see it. I start off really dark. I blend it afterwards. So everyone does their contour a little bit different. I focus mine really dark on the cheek area where I have a natural kind of line. It might not be able to see it on camera, but I know it's there. Then I go lightly around my forehead and very, very lightly in circles around my chin. I don't always do around my chin. I feel like it's just to slim the face, and I don't really care to make my face look slimmer. I like my face how it is, but if I want to be dramatic, I'll do it. Once that's nice and blended, you can go in with your blush. I focus mine mainly on the apples of my cheeks and blend backwards. I also put some on my nose just to give me a little bit more color, especially because I don't like to contour my nose. I also put a little bit of blush on my forehead. To ever so slightly blend my blush into my contour before I go into everyone's favorite step, the highlighter. Oh, look at it gleaming. It's so beautiful. Glazed donut vibes all the way. So yeah, my cheeks, the tip of my nose, like a lot on the tip of my nose, above my lip, on the middle of my chin, and on my forehead, of course. This small little step is one of my favorites. It pulls the eyeshadow together in my opinion. You just highlight right underneath your eyebrow and it just looks so nice. I make this very intense. Again, it's one of my favorite steps. So I know my face looks a little crazy here, but it's only for a moment while I tight line my eyes. I do the upper and the lower. This is just something I like to do. It makes my big eyes look a lot smaller. So yeah, I do this pretty much every time, even when I don't have a full face of makeup on. So now I'm going to do my eyeliner. This is me prepping for the fact that I have to be so careful. But yeah, so I'm going to go in with my all-time favorite eyeliner, which is the Hank & Henry Blickity Black Eyeliner. I swear by this. When I first got this to try, I fell in love. I would never buy another eyeliner in my life. It just goes on so nicely. It stays on all day. It has never cracked on me. I just love it. I recommend you get it, try it, experience it. You might love it just as much as I do. I'll dedicate another video to the way I do my eyeliner. Again, I'm not perfect at it, but I understand it's really hard to do a wing liner. Okay, so this is me singing, trying to do my mascara, but I'm using the Hank & Henry double-sided mascara, and I absolutely love this, especially the side for your lower lashes. That small little brush that is in here has helped significantly. I have very long bottom lashes, and this just helps it so it doesn't get clumpy, and I can keep them separated. I just love it, so yeah, definitely try it. Prep those dry lips for your lip liner and lipstick. You know, kind of self-explanatory. Follow your lips and then just go in with your lipstick. So I prefer a glossier lip. I don't know why I make this face while I was trying to put this lip gloss on, but yeah, just, you don't have to make it glossy. That's just what I like. I like my lips to look nice and juicy. This is basically the final look. I'm going to put my gauges in, change my clothes. I hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe. Bye.